process. Okay, well, it's the week before the Super Bowl, so I wanted to take some time to get some of the best Super Bowl commercials, and I found this video that's just, it doesn't have any commentary in between, but this is an E-Trade commercial, and there was a whole series of them. And you may not be old enough to know about this, so let's play this and have some fun. Let's see if we can get to that. Here we go. Oh my gosh. There we go. Oh, this is so touchy. Here we go.
That's actually a perfect Enzo. But after a couple educational videos and a little hand-holding from customer support, next thing you know, he's got a stunning portfolio. Now he's planning to retire in Tuscany. We're both pretty emotional about it. Shh. Don't say a word. You're welcome.
E-Trade. Investing Unleashed.
Ah, Doritos. Thanks. No problem. Snuck these out of Tim's locker. What's the big deal? No. This is bad. Tim loves Doritos. So, who doesn't?
Hide these! We gotta get out of here before...
Damn.
It's the gigantic building.
Bud Light is brewed to give you everything you want in a beer. Never-ending refreshment, superior drinkability, and now the ability to breathe fire.
Allow me.
Wow. Do you have a cat? The ability to breathe fire no longer available in Bud Light. The endless refreshment, however, remains. Bud Light.
Oh, babe, check this out. Hey, come on. You want another chippy? You want a Dorito? Are you hungry? Come on and get a Dorito.
Babe, don't hurt my dog.
Come on, get a chip. Come on, get a chip. Get a chip. Come on. Here he comes. Here he comes.
That's enough for today. Okay, well, if that worked, at least then it worked. Okay, so let's go over to the news. Okay, Sean Hannity is going to be on the, is going to be doing, and again, now we have to get rid of, you have no idea how complicated this is, just to try and figure this out. Okay, Sean Hannity is going to try and, oh, good Lord. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sean Hannity's going to try and interview Donald Trump on the Super Bowl. And, great. There's nothing wrong with that. But the funny part, I hope it's funny. That's all I got to say, is I thought, usually we don't get started until the game, turning the TV on. And so I didn't know this is a regular thing, that Obama was interviewed twice, once in 2011 and once in 2014 before the Super Bowl. So apparently this is a thing that presidents can do, and I just hope it'll be funny, because Scott Adams argued that the number one stand-up comic in the world today is Donald Trump. Because he packs 20,000 people every time he goes to one of his rallies, and most of it's jokes. I don't know if you've ever watched one, but there's a lot of jokes, and it's pretty fun. And in New Jersey, I don't know if you've been following this, but in New Jersey, they have a venue that's only 7,000 seats or something, and they've sold over 100,000. This was 2 weeks ago. They had requests for 100,000 tickets, and now the governor has announced a construction project. Wildwood, New Jersey's right on the coast, and it's like swampland all around it. I spent a summer at Wildwood, and apparently they're closing the main road into Wildwood, New Jersey. The governor decided to start the project. Who knows if it was early or late or whatever, but but I just saw a tweet from a New Jersey person that said, "We're gonna be there anyway." I know. Politics is fun. So you got to think of it as comedy and theater, especially if you watch the impeachment trial last week. It's all theater. I found out this week that Adam Schiff actually writes fictional screenplays, and so that's kind of what's so now he gets a chance to be in his own. And anyway, here's one that I thought was interesting. Twitter it's not interesting because of the context, but it's interesting because I learned a lot in this article. And the gist of it is Devin Nunes is saying that Twitter doesn't pay any attention and doesn't clean up its act. And on one hand, it doesn't clean up its act on one level, and on the other hand, it allows defamation. Well, it allows defamation on one hand, but it blocks conservative thought on the other. I don't know if any of it's true. Scott Adams has been running a test, or trying to, realizing that you probably have 4 to 10 apps on your phone that also connected. I connected a lot of times with Twitter. When it says log in or connect with Twitter, a lot of times those apps say that they can basically affect your Twitter connections if you read the fine print, which I never do, of course, like everybody else. And so it may not even be Twitter that's fiddling around with who you follow and who you don't. It could be an app that you downloaded that's like, I have like one for leveling, for measuring level on work projects. I don't know if you knew you could do that, but it really works really well to use your phone for a level. I have a heartbeat monitor. I have, just a lot of dumb junk that little apps that do stuff. A sound recorder, and they're all free, and then they take over your machine and you don't know what they're doing. So, but there's this super protection that that Twitter's arguing that this let's see if I can find it, and I can barely read this because it's tiny. Congress granted providers of online platforms like Twitter broad immunity from dialing or from from claims. Yeah, it's too small. I'm going to do this. It's probably going to wreck the whole screen. Let's see what it did to the screen. Yeah, it wrecked everything. But at least I can read it. Congress granted providers of online platforms like Twitter broad immunity from claims that seek to hold them liable for harms caused by defamation or otherwise harmful content. Okay, so there's this big Communications Decency Act that not only shields web platforms from libel lawsuits, but also protects companies from the burdens of litigation. So basically, there's nothing that you can do to them, which is a really clever deal. They're immune from everything. It sounds like, they have no reason to listen to anybody, and it's probably a little extreme. But I just thought you might enjoy learning that. Okay, finally, New York, and again, this is unreadable. New York has a new law that takes more air out of the cashless bubble. Okay, so a couple of stores announced they were going to be cashless only. I think the was it Amazon store where you could walk in and walk out with stuff. That it just scanned your phone. There were a couple of stores that were going to be these super convenient stores, and Philadelphia first, and then San Francisco, and then New York blocked cashless only, and they said you have to be able to take cash, which was interesting. And if we scan down here a little bit, it turns out that more than 25% of American households are unbanked and use cash only, which is, 25%. What is that? Like, I don't know. It's millions and millions. 32 million households, okay, out of about 100 million households. Yeah, that's about right. That's even more than 20. Well, maybe it's a little more than 100 now. I used to use that as a ballpark. Anyway, so technology and the 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 promise of technology and its actual working out in practice, as we've pointed out with AI, with machine learning, with digital advertising, SEO, lots of these technologies, they become, the buzzwords and take off, and then, you know, other forces, unanticipated forces, come in and squash them, or I think quash them, in light of the Devin Nunes article. If you know what a quash is, quash that motion. Anyway, that's enough for today. It's a huge challenge. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be back in the office with my Target Tuesday, where it's a little more organized and hopefully not on this micro screen that's unreadable. Thanks for watching. Like and share. Your friends will think you're smart. I'm John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society